Yes, thank you very much. Вибачте, моя українська мова ще не так гарна, щоб такі складні речі розказати. I will speak in English. Yes, I'm delegate of German economy here in Ukraine, and three things I would like to speak about. First, quota. We discussed agricultural quotas here. From my point of view, maybe I'm wrong, but from my point of view, there could be a positive, result from quotas on the side of the European Union for Ukraine. Because in the end, for the Ukrainian processing industry, it is much more interesting to have commodities here in the country and process them here. Otherwise, your commodities you would sell to Poland, Czech Republic, Hungary, and the value added would take place there, and not in Ukraine. And that's what we see in the agrarian sector, because the big agrarian holdings, they understood the margin is not earned in agriculture. The margin is earned in processing. And, you know, from the EU point of view, the EU decided for the agro-lobby and against the processing industry. They're protecting the agro-industry by these quotas. But actually, as they're taking away the more cheaper commodities that could come from Ukraine to their processing industries. It would be much more interesting for Polish food processing industries to buy the cheap commodities here in Ukraine without custom. So on the midterm or long term, this could be positive for Ukraine, because companies will understand that it's more interesting to make a higher value-added product and export this higher added product to the EU, because there are no quotas on those products. First. The second is branding. I'm from economy. We all know brand is a main driver of economy. And you have two problems. The first is the brand Ukraine. The perception of Ukraine in my country, in Germany, is war, conflict, and there is something going on with Russia which is badly influencing on German economy. That is not really true, not on a statistical level, but nevertheless, that's how the perception is. If I go to an Ukrainian conference, economical conference in Germany, I have many participants who are there only because they are dealing with Russia and they want to understand how long the conflict with Ukraine will continue. And the third thing, to add, Ukraine as a brand, you have to work on your country's perception abroad. Because 5 years ago, it almost didn't exist. When I went to Kyiv, the people asked me, are you going to Russia? They were not aware 5 years ago, even after the Orange Revolution, that Kyiv is the capital of an independent state. So if we have these conferences here, it's fine. But what you have to do, you have to go abroad. Abroad. I'm always inviting, I go to every governor of your regions, I go to your government, I invite them to move out, to go out and speak about Ukraine in Germany, in the European Union. It is not taking place. We're doing single events. We had a big event in Berlin with Mr. Yatsenyuk and Chancellor Merkel, 700 entrepreneurs there. But one single event, that is not enough. You have thousands of events in Berlin. And you have to be aware that the Russian propaganda is working very well. You are not only positioning the Ukrainian brand, you have to do something against the existing informational field, which is actually working against you. Because there's a lot of money, I don't know, Russia today, $400 million per year, something like this, I don't know.
I guess billion.
So it's crazy. The third thing, if I go to Ukrainian companies, for example, ice making, Root, I was there. I have been in other companies. The biggest problems for your entrepreneurs is the psychological understanding of what kind of brand would be interested in our countries. If you take ice, Root, it's very well introduced. It's market leader in Ukraine. Peter Root, whom I visited, when I tried to explain him that the brand, an ice brand, Root, Root in English it's not a positive word. And even in German, it does not sound well. So you have to work with your brand. You have to adopt your brand. And you have to adopt your brand to an exception our clients, our consumers have. You're one of the biggest honey importers to Germany. And you do not have one single Ukrainian honey brand. It's a catastrophe. You are serving discounters with cheap honey, and there is not printed made in Ukraine on it.
We have one honey brand. This is Victor. He is Victor Yushchenko.
But I've never seen it in Germany, So if you see most likely honey in Germany, you see it's sold very cheap, and it's non-EU product, and that's all. Because that is interlinked, the bad or the not very positive country image, and on the second hand, or on the second side, they do not dare to print made in Ukraine on the things. By the way, I thought first, how to say, trial on this. I saw it on the VDNH when I was there. There was a fashion show, and there was a very fine thing. They posted, or they had a poster, 48, your country code in coding goods, territory of quality. With a how to say, a nice picture, and that is the start. You have to work on the brand made in Ukraine, and you have to work on the brand Ukraine. That's all.